Hi you guys, it's Lisa, and today we're going to finish another art journal page. And as you saw, this is the page that I had in my art journal, and this is what I'm going to work on. So I wanted to dig out some supplies. I have a rattle in my headphone. I'm hoping that you can't hear that. I'm trying to do most of my stuff as is in real time for these art journal pages because it takes less time for editing. So if you excuse me, if you don't like this format, don't tune me out. Just let me know and I'll take it into consideration if people don't like it like this. But anyways, here's the page that I took out of my Grumbacher In and Out art journal notebook, and I will link this to you in the description below. This notebook is really great. Um, I can show it to you really quick. This one is one of the In and Out notebooks, so you can just pop these in, which is really super cool because you don't have to work on your page in your book. So like I said, yeah, super cool. You can take it out and put it right back in. And the paper, as you can see, is really, really heavy duty. So I really like this and I use it a lot. I'm actually going to fill one up pretty soon, and then we'll be able to get a new one and actually do the front and back cover of that one. So we'll work on that in a video also. Okay, so what I got, I pulled this out. I noticed that there was some yellow here and there's some orange down at the bottom. I have some background stamping already done on here, and there is some really cool cheesecloth on here. And I do have a finished one of this. Sorry, this is probably why you will end up not liking these videos because I go on tangents here. This is a finished one that we did in a workshop. And here I go on a tangent again. This one here is the framed piece that we did. So that turned out pretty cool, huh? That's a workshop, and you can find it in my videos also. A little dusty there. It's way back, way at the beginning. This is kind of what started me creating and doing workshops and such, was this butterfly piece. So here's one that we had done the background to and never finished. So I was thinking perfect way to do that. So what I grabbed out of my stash was this piece that I cut off of a calendar, and its life is pretty amazing if you create it that way, which is really cool. It makes me think of this book that I'm reading right now. um, I don't want to say it because there's some swear words. It's, well, I can link it below if you want to know about it, but here's a butterfly that I got. Don't know where, just had it cut out from something. I have this calendar page, and I know why I pulled it out and saved it was because of this like scroll work here. I absolutely love that, and I thought that would be really cool on this piece. So I saved that out just so I remembered about it. Here's also a scrap paper that I threw in my junk, not my junk, I'm sorry, it's my stash, so my stuff that I save, all these bits and pieces. It says black emboss um, with blue, red, yellow sky. This is something different, but when I saw this black emboss, I remembered I used this glossy dimensional paste. It's a modeling paste, and it was really cool. So I'm going to use that again. I pulled out some chalk paint, and I love this color. It's called Summer Porch, so I'd bring that yellow in. I absolutely love this stencil. I use it all the time. It's called Tiles, and I just thought it kind of went with the cheesecloth checked pattern. I thought I could do something with that. And my focal point, I believe, is going to be this great big flower. It's a daisy. It's Daisy 2 by Sean Petit. I did do a video where I made it into a cone flower. And this time, I think I'm going to do it maybe orange with something different in the middle. And, well, no, actually, let's do this. Let's do it black. Won't that be cool? Striking. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do that black. And I wondered about putting any of these behind it in the background. Maybe that summer porch and some orange. That might be cool. And here's just some leaves. This is Garden 2. I'm sorry, I'm not telling you the names. This is Cotton Stems 2. Garden 2. And this one is called Daisy 2. So we've got lots of things to work with here. I'm going to just go ahead and mix up some paint and get some sponges out, and we will be right back and we will start this baby, okay? All right, bye.
Unfortunately, all of my audio for this piece has been deleted. So I'm going to do my best here. I'm showing you the products that I'm going to use. I got my stencil out, and I'm going to use some gesso through that. I'm just using a piece of makeup sponge and a piece of plastic here, and I am going to use that and put that gesso through my stencil. I'm hoping that you like this voiceover type of video. It makes it just a bit easier for me to edit some of my projects more quickly so that I can get them out to you on my YouTube channel. So again, I'm just using some gesso. I'm dabbing it off on my piece of packaging, and then I'm going to put it through the stencil, maybe over in the white area here, and then I do put some also on the purple area. Like I said, I love this stencil. It's called Tiles. It's by Tim Holtz, Stampers Anonymous stencil, excuse me, and I just love this stencil. I use it all the time. Hopefully you're not getting too sick of it and watching me use it in all of my projects, but it's a go-to for me, and it's something that I really, really like, and something that I think is really neat, and it's going to bring out some of the texture that's in the cheesecloth that's in the background on this piece of art journal page. So go ahead and put that through. And next we're going to work on some of those flowers in the background. I let that dry a little bit, and I'm going to use this Cotton Stem 2 stencil from Sean. I'm going to use some archival ink, and I am going to use 2 colors of ink from Hero Arts. I'm going to use my sponges, and I'm going to go ahead and put that ink through the stencil. Excuse me. And we're going to do the stems obviously in green and the flowers in the yellow and the orange. We will have to give this a little dry after we are done, but I wanted to show you how I go ahead and move that stencil a little bit to fill in those spaces of the stenciled image, so you don't have to match up the colors of green. I think that's a really good tip, and it's something that I didn't really realize until I was working on this piece. I always have a hard time matching up the colors of green with the different inks that I use. I'm going to wipe off my stencil with just a dry towel, and then I'm going to flip it around so I can have the flowers in the background going the opposite direction. And again, just using my archival ink and filling in those stem lines and moving the stencil to make those stems match up. I enjoy this stencil a lot, and it's going to be coming in handy here when we're working on all of our fall projects. This one is a really, really great one for fall. All right, so I thought maybe I would just add a little bit more there, and now we're going to work on a couple more stems and then do the flowers. And the two colors that I have for the orange and yellow are by Hero Arts, and the colors are Tangerine and Pumpkin Patch. I was just grabbing things out of my stash that I thought would work for this background here. So I gave that a dry, and now, like I said, I was going to use the other two colors for the flowers. I'm using the yellow first, and then putting a little darkened orange to the bottom of the flower, and I think it turned out just beautiful. Giving my stencil a quick wipe with my baby wipe here so that I don't get that green on my background where I do not want it. These are the baby wipes I use. People have asked me about that. They're just something you can get at the regular store, and nothing special about them. I just don't use any that have alcohol in them because they'll dry out your stamps, and I do use a lot of rubber stamps in my creating. So I'm going to go ahead and do the flowers. I'm just going to show you a couple of them here, and then do the rest off camera, because they do take a little while, and I didn't want this video to be too terribly long for you. So just easily putting down the yellow, put down the orange, and then blended it again with the yellow. My headphones are beeping. They're telling me that I have a problem with recording here, so I'm having all types of problems tonight. I'm going to have to set this aside and get back to you. So we'll enjoy the process, and I'll be right back. And I'm going off camera to do the rest of these flowers. There's 10 of them in all, so they're going to take me a little bit of time. I'll be right back.
Here we go. I put some over here because it was feeling way too, I got a hole there. So I wanted to make that, visual triangle. So that's what I did there. And I did dry this with my heat gun, which was nice to be able to find because I hadn't used it yet in a while. Okay, now my thought next is this kind of swirly vine, and I'm going to try and do it freehand. But I thought of a way that you probably could do it if you didn't feel comfortable like that. If you took your pencil, I would take a permanent pen, because we're going to put some finish over the top of this, I think. I'm pretty sure we are. And you could go right in here, like that, and draw them in. I'm going to try and do it freehand. Here's what I came up with when I did that to resemble this. I'm going to try and do it freehand. And if it doesn't work, this is a water-soluble brown pencil, so I can easily wipe it up. I should probably get a baby wipe ready just in case. But I think I can do it. I just kind of want it loose and just, exactly like this, really. I mean, I'm not trying to copy that, but yet I just want that kind of effect. So here we go. We're just going to go and not really think about it. Oh, and then I hit that. Something like that. And just like that. So we've got 2. And of course you gotta do 3 because that's what they say. I don't know who they are, but we'll go like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna do some leaves. And I'm not pushing really hard because I'm gonna have to go over this and I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but so far this is working. I like it. Yes, no. Okay, and then they just kind of have like a little swirly on top. Makes it quite whimsical, doesn't it? You know, I'm not going to have to worry about right here because bam, this is going to go on top of here just like that. I want it just right there. So I'm not going to get carried away up here. I'll do this area, this area. And you can see I'm not being too precise. I'm just whipping it on there. I'm not really trying to think about it. So I've got these 3 areas. So that looks good to me. I'm going to see if my Posca paint pen is going to work over this. Make sure it's working. Probably wrecking my pen. So don't try this at home. I think maybe if I just go outside the line, and not trying to get the line, I'm leaving the brown as my underneath. So if we're really good about this and we use water under there, would that be cool? Because it'll kind of run. Okay, so I'm gonna work on this off camera because it's gonna take me a while. And then I won't activate the water, but we'll go ahead and put this down because this is gonna take a bit to dry. And then while that's drying, we'll work on our sentiment and what we're going to do with that. So again, we could use our stencil to do this pattern that I liked, like this, or you could do it freehand. I drew it on with my brown Stabilo pencil, which is water soluble, and now I'm taking this black pen and I'm going on, not on top of the line, right next to the line where it would look like it's the top portion of the vine. And in a few more steps, you'll understand what I mean by that. Okay, so I am going to do that and I'll be back. Voila! How's that look? I think it looks pretty cool. We'll see what happens. You know, keep on going, keep on going. So now I want to put this great big flower up here. I'm not really wanting to put the stem. I don't know why, I just am not. So I'm going to use some tape of some sort. Here's some washi tape that's on my desk. And I'm just going to cover that up so I don't have to mess with it. We'll see. Probably shouldn't be doing this right on here, huh? And here it's non-stick. Okay, just going like this. If I get way down here, I'm in trouble. Okay, so I'm going to try this with just the flower. I think that just looks cool. Now we gotta remember that there's lots of texture on here. Think like that perhaps, because I do like this hanging down there. I think that'll be good. I don't usually do this, but I don't know why. My tape is here and maybe it's here for a reason. I'm gonna tape it down. Now check out this find at a rummage sale. This was $1. It's like a trowel for cement work, but I thought, don't you love my sound effects? I thought it might be pretty cool to do this. I'm actually gonna go like this too. Maybe not on my example. I'm expecting to get messy, as you can see. So here, let's try it. And I did try to find this product online. I did not have any luck. I know that I did get it at Hobby Lobby, but it's been years. I'm just pushing down and I'm just going to lift up at the back at the end. And I'm not going to go back and forth all over it. I'm just going to get it down and be done with it because I want it to be as smooth as possible. And I think it's going to look cool. I know I'm probably wasting product, but like I said, I've had this for years and I still got it. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. If I swipe it again, I know I'm going to have a problem. Now that tool for $1 felt like it worked pretty darn well. We'll see when I pull this up. And isn't that the best part about stenciling? Is pulling up that stencil and try not to get it all over. So here's the first part. We'll get rid of this. And I'm going to wipe this stuff all up. I'll take it into the kitchen when I do the stencil. Just going to pull it up. Holy cow. Yes, baby. I feel like I need another one though. Maybe 3. Ooh, do I dare? I don't know. Well, I'm going to wipe this up. I'm going to clean up my area. This has got to dry. So I think we're at a standstill for now. I will kind of time this and see how long it takes, and I will get back to you. And we do have to think about this. So maybe we do not need another flower. I'll be back. We'll work on the sentiment while that's drying. I'll be careful. So I cut the sentiment down off of the papers and I cut it apart. Life is pretty amazing if you create it that way. I like the placement. This is still wet, so I have to be very careful. I'm going to take a Sharpie. This is a permanent black marker, and I'm going to go carefully around the edges. This one doesn't seem to be working very well. It dried out. Of course it is. But I have another. That's one thing you just never have enough of is permanent black pens. Now be really careful so you don't go on top of your sentiment because you only have one. I'm being very careful. Kind of letting that dry. It dries really fast. Okay, I'm going to be really careful again. Oop. This one doesn't feel very wet either. Okay, so I'm going to go around all of them. I'm going to put them down with my matte gel because they're kind of heavy paper, and I'm going to stick them down really good. I'll be back. Everything is still wet here. This flower's wet. I put these down with matte gel, not matte medium, because matte gel is thicker, so it'll hold it better. Now what I was thinking is I'm going to use my Stabilo All and probably my charcoal pencil, 6B extra soft. I better sharpen that and go around these flowers. I'll see which one works best. And I have a water brush and a fresh tub of water, and also in these leaves. Now I'm not going to go too much in those leaves because I'm going to use some Pan Pastel in green and fill those in is my thought. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, things sometimes change, but that's my initial thought. I just had to be very careful not to get my hands in some of these things that are wet. I will try one flower. This seems like a good spot over here. I'm just going to fill in those gaps, know what I mean, and kind of go around them. And I'm just going to see if this works, or my other option, like I said, is my charcoal pencil. This is kind of nice because it gives it that watercolory feel. I like the hint of brown in this piece, and I'm going to carry that down the stem. It's kind of bringing a little fall into the air, which we've been riding on the weekends, of course, whenever we can. And the trees are changing. It's like, oh my goodness, what happened to summer, right? We've all been trying to stay in and be good, but that's what happened this year. You know, what can you do? Um, I'm going to go ahead and I really like that. I don't think I'm going to do the charcoal, but I guess I could just try it. I think it'll be just a little too dark. I'm going to use it with a little water. Yeah, it's making it too black and orange, like pumpkin-y, and we don't want to go there yet. You know, that's still October. So since that is water soluble, I can pick that up. And I won't go back to that flower. I'll do some other flowers before I do that one because that's wet, and this is wet there. So I'm going to not use my charcoal pencil right now, but of course I will set it aside. And I wanted to just touch on these two items. I didn't use them. That butterfly, I thought I might use it because it had kind of the same blue there in that sentiment, but this is more of a greenish and this is more of a bluish. And then I didn't use my summer porch chalk paint, so obviously I'll put those back in my stash. But I just wanted to show you what I didn't use. You know, sometimes you have all this stuff all over your desk and you're whipping it out there and you're like, oh, this and this, and then it's like, okay, now what did she use? So I'm going to do another flower, and I'm going to do this one over here, just using my brown Stabilo pencil, and I'm going around those petals. Don't need to worry about that leaf part, right? Because I'm going to turn that green later. And then I'm just going to use my water. Can you see that okay? And I just dab it off so it's not sopping wet. And I'm just gonna go around. bring it down a little bit to the stem. Yeah, could be a big orange too, huh? There, cool. All right, so everything's drying. I'm going to do these flowers, and I may even go under the stem a little and bring that just like that. Just a little shadow there. And then I'm going to run along this vine line that we created. Remember? Because there's that Stabilo pencil on there. And I'm being careful not to get into these areas. Can you see that? Looks cool. It'll look different when it's all done. This is where things take a bit, you know. You're getting towards the end and you put in all of these details and it's worth it, you know. It's really worth it. So I'm probably not going to have to do too much to these flowers down there. Can you see? Because it's kind of covered by that vine and, you know, I wanted to do too much. So it won't take me too long. I will work on that and I'll be back. Oh yeah, it's coming along. I have to do the brown around this sentiment yet. I think I got all the flowers, but I can always go back and touch that up after I go in and add my green leaves. And I want to add a little bit of this yellow and orange to my flowers. And these are my soft pastels that I have. There's a ton of colors. I almost feel like I should swatch them, but that would be kind of anal, I think. Maybe if I'm really bored someday. And then, of course, I have these pan pastels that you know I absolutely love. So I'll probably do a little something with that. I'm not quite sure. And I did get a few new applicators. So I'm going to try here to fill in the green in the leaves just by doing it a little freehand like such. And then maybe knocking a little bit of this off with the applicator. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's going to take me a while. Let's try my pan pastel instead of that soft pastel. It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's going to take me a while. But it's going to be worth it, I think. I hope, you know. You never know what's going to happen until you try it, right? So I think the leaves do need to be colored in, so I'm going to have to, I guess, just go ahead and get them done, huh? Maybe I shouldn't have done so many leaves, huh? None up there, okay. It's kind of a big one there. Okay, so I'm going to work on these leaves. I'm going to fill them in like that. blend them with my brush, my applicator tool. These are by Soft. They're just plastic with little sponges on top, and you have to be very careful with them because they rip really easy. So I'm not sure that this is going to be super fantastic, but who's to say I can't always go around those leaves with my black pen again, right? I'm just trying to wreck that black pen, aren't I? But maybe it'll work. We'll see. We'll try it. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and I'll finish that off camera. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of this yellow to those flowers. What do you think? And orange to the bottom. And this is the green leaves, so blend that out. Or am I getting too crazy here, huh? I sure like the orange. It really makes it pop. Just can't go over the green with the orange. Okay. So, adding that. And once you get going, you start building a little confidence, like, oh, this isn't turning out too bad. And then all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, hey, that looks pretty cool. So, keep working it. Add some of that yellow back. And then do we need some more brown definition, or? See, now I can go around those leaves, and that works pretty darn well. Put that vine back in there. I don't know, maybe I'm making it just a big mess. But I'm going to work on this, and I'll be back and we'll see what I come up with. Maybe it'll be totally wrecked, but, you know, we tried, and that's all you can do, because we're creating it the way we like it. And we had some cool techniques in here, and maybe some products that you hadn't seen before. So we'll see what happens. Alright, be back in a flash. Okay, what do you think now? I like it. You know, you just need to stop when you need to stop. So I may look at it tomorrow and, you know, see that I have some finishing touches to do. But for where I am tonight, I'm going to add my white highlights and wait until tomorrow and re-look at it with new eyes. I've been working on this probably for it's 8:30, 20 to 9. Probably started around 5. So yeah, I've been at it a long time. Um, And an art journal page redo is not supposed to take quite that long, but this one just kept going and going. So I'm going to add some white highlights to the flowers. That's looking cool. And then try not to smudge this with my hand. And then I'm going to have to call it quits because I think I'm just too close to it. And of course we want a little highlight on those leaves. And what I'm using here is a pastel pencil. I'll link it below. It's just a white pastel pencil. I use this one a lot. It's hard to sharpen. You have to have a bigger pencil sharpener. I use my eyeliner pencil. I have an old one. Not that we put much makeup on these days. I don't wear makeup to work. And where on earth do you go, right? Wear a mask, so it's coming along. I like it better and better, but like I said, I have to stop because I'm too close. So I will either get back to you, or when I look at this tomorrow, I will think that it is finished. I know we need to do the black edge. Let's do the black edge, and maybe that will be all the answer that we need. You know how I like that black edge. I'm going to use this gelatos because I'm trying to get rid of it. There's just a paper to protect my... We'll do this black edge and we'll see what happens. Maybe it's going to be like, whoa. And maybe that might be all it needs. I like how it picks up that cheesecloth there, that texture. Looks really cool. And I'm being careful not to touch my chalk pastel because that will smear because it's not set. And I don't want to set it yet because I don't know if I'm finished. It sure brings out the background writing there, doesn't it? I want that one flower to be black, black, black. So, I don't know, what do you think? Did I go too far? It definitely was a lot of work, and I like it right now. I'll see how I feel about it in the morning. There we go. And go sleep on it. All right? We'll talk to you again.